Sometimes you feel missed, unheard, overlooked, and unseen. I'm going to show you how to never let that happen to you again. What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, King Prime. I can be found at IamKingPrime.com. Here at the Modern Kings Podcast, we have one mission. That is to help you look good, help you make money, and to help you to stay fit. Consider today's episode more of a bonus. This is something that I felt compelled to do based on a few interactions that I've had, and I thought it'd be good to share these things with you all. I have a few personal mantras or personal statements that have served me well over time. And one of those statements or mindsets is to be default aggressive. You may have just painted a picture when you thought of default aggression. It doesn't look like anger. It doesn't look like physically attacking anything. It doesn't look like anything aggressive in nature. In short, default aggressive is being very intentional and being very relentless in pursuing what it is that you desire. It is having that tenacity to be on top of things and to continue pursuing those things because of how things distract people, how they fall off people's radars. You are not a priority all the time. And it does not mean that that person does not mean to make you a priority. It's just the nature of what gets their attention. And sometimes you have to remind people of that. I have two examples that recently happened over the past couple of days of where default aggression came into play. So I'm at a very important event this weekend. For full transparency, it's my wedding. I just got married, and there are people that are wanting to take photos. As you can imagine with a wedding, attention is all over the place. Fun is in the air, excitement is in the air, a little bit of chaos is in the air. And I had a very, very, very close relative to ask me for a photo with me and my wife. And I said, sure, absolutely, give me a moment. So I approached my wife and she was very preoccupied with serving someone. Was not a good time. Then I got distracted and went elsewhere. Ultimately, the photo op fell off the radar. After the event is over, I receive a text saying that we really, really enjoyed the event, the wedding. It was beautiful. I never did get the picture that I wanted. So what came into play at that particular time is another principle that I live by, and that is called extreme ownership. So at that time, I said, you know what? I apologize. I take full responsibility for that. It fell off my radar, and I feel terrible that you did not get the photo that you wanted. Now, where default aggressive comes into play is, this is an example where my relative should have been default aggressive. When you're default aggressive, you do not lose your opportunities, you do not miss your opportunities, and ultimately it helps you to get what it is that you're after. It helps you to get what you want, and it makes you and everyone else happy in the end. So another example, we're at a tea stand. My wife and I, we've just got married. The day after we get married, we're getting green tea. She notices that there's very little green tea and a huge amount of ice. She just so happens to let me know. And when she shared that, my default aggressive nature kicked in and said, excuse me, we noticed that you put very little tea and a lot of ice. Would it be possible to balance that out a little bit more with more tea and just a little bit of ice? We would really appreciate that. So that is a softer, kinder approach, but it's default aggressive. Most people would have taken that cup of tea and went on about their business. These are little things that you can begin to speak up on that will greatly enhance your life in so many areas. Start speaking up about the small things, and it will become more comfortable for you to speak up about the larger things, the more important things, the more significant things. Default aggressive can be intentional. You can phrase it as being on purpose, any of those things. But I will tell you that default aggressive is person dependent. It is a very personal thing based on your experiences and your comfort level. but I will say it is not worth you sitting on the sidelines and not getting what it is that you deserve and desire. There also has to be a level of importance for you. How important is this thing to you? Scale of 1 to 10. If it's a 3 or above, I say be default aggressive. If it's a 7 or above, be a little extra default aggressive. Anything below 3, you probably can let it go. So what do? You start small by being a little uncomfortable in those situations. And the more you are a little uncomfortable, you become more comfortable with what people consider uncomfortable. You don't always have to accept things the way that they are. Remember, you're not doing anything wrong by speaking up for yourself and communicating what it is that you desire. If you know someone that could benefit from being default aggressive, or maybe it's you, send this video to them, rewatch this video, take a few notes, practice it, try it on someone. Go into a store and ask for something that's a little reasonable and just see how much people will lean into you and assist you with your desires. Because ultimately, it is my belief that people naturally and ultimately want to help other people. So turn on your default aggressive switch. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. I would really appreciate a thumbs up of this video. This is the currency that keeps this particular channel going and helping men and women like you to rise up and become better people. And before I go, let me leave you with a quote. The way to bring about change is to be proactive and active. That quote is by Octavia Spencer. Follow me on YouTube at King Prime. That is the @ King Prime. Follow me on Instagram at iam.kingprime. Thank you for being here again. We'll see you in the next video. And until then, look your best, do your best, and be your best.